Hey everyone, Meredith from Pandora's Books here with a very belated BEA book haul video. So the majority of the books here are from the actual BEA event, but I also attended Book Blogger Con, Teen Author Carnival, and the Harlequin Teen Breakfast. So I got a ton of books from those extra events as well. I don't have the books divided up based on events. I have them divided up by publisher. So, yeah, so I'm just going to get started because I have already filmed this once and it was over 20 minutes long, and I'm going to try to make it shorter. So, first up is The Undertakers, Secret of the Corpse Eater by Ty Drago. I think that's it. I accidentally showed up for one of their signings early, and this author was still signing, and I kind of didn't want this, but the author was right there, and the publisher was like, hey, do you want it? The author's signing, and I didn't know how to say no. I also didn't know how to say I didn't want it personalized, so there you go. It does look interesting. I don't have the first two books, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it, but it looks good. The author was nice, so that's a plus at least. Call Me Grim by Elizabeth Holloway. This was the one that I was actually, I wanted to be there for this signing, and that's how I ended up with the other book, because I was early for this. But as you can see, she signed the cover. I'm not really sure why. Maybe she thought it would stand out. Maybe she didn't know any better. I think this is her debut book, so I don't know. But this looks awesome, and I was really excited to meet the author, and I'm very excited to read this one. The Iron Trial by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. This book I kind of got accidentally. I did want it, but I figured I wouldn't be able to get on the line. The line would be really long. They'd run out of books. And then I was walking by, and one of my friends stopped me and said, they still have copies of The Iron Trial. Go, run, get it. And I was like, okay. And I ran for it, and I guess the publicist saw me coming and saw that I was eyeing the books, and she kind of grabbed it and, like, handed it to me out the side of the booth. And I was like, thank you. She was like, you looked like you wanted it. I was like, I did, thank you. So, yeah, funny little story there. It actually has a cover on the inside. Now, the only thing is, I didn't know this book is middle grade, and I don't usually read middle grade, but I do really like Holly Black, so I'm still going to give it a shot, and if nothing else, my brother is a middle school teacher, so this will be great for his classroom. Can't Look Away by Donna Cooner. I think it's Cooner. I'm pretty sure it's Cooner. This was one of the books that I got at the after party for the Book Blogger Con. I have never heard of it. I've never heard of this author, although apparently her other book, Skinny, is very popular. But the cover completely hooked me. I'm not really sure how to explain what this is about without giving anything away, but apparently she's a vlogger, and her sister was killed in an accident, but people think it's because of her videos. And it looked really interesting, and, you know, I've been getting more and more into contemporary, so I'm very excited to read it. Belzar by Meg Wolitzer. I got this book. This was another, like, unintended book, whatever you want to call it. I was standing in line for a signing, and I was trying to pass off some ARCs that I didn't want to the girls in front of me, and one of the girls said, oh, you know, I have this book, and I'm not really interested in it. Do you want it? And she pulled this out. This is supposed to be, I guess, a retelling of the Bell Jar. And it looked really good, and she, you know, I had given her 3 ARCs, and even though I hadn't heard of this one, it sounded amazing, and apparently everyone's really excited about it, and it does look really good, so now I'm really glad I got it. Zodiac by Romina Russell. This was from the BloggerCon after party. I had not heard of this prior to BEA, but the cover and title completely pulled me in. I've always loved, like, the zodiac signs, astrological signs, the solar system, stars, planets. I've loved that stuff ever since I was in think it was 4th grade, we did a unit on that kind of stuff, and I've just always been obsessed with it, so this was a must-have for me. Black Ice by Becca Fitzpatrick. I only got this book because one of my good friends, Stacy, was DMing me every time a publisher tweeted that they had a galley drop or a signing or this or that. And she let me know about this one, but I was on another line, and I couldn't get there until 20 minutes after the galley drop started. So I was really nervous that they were going to be all gone, but they still had a huge box of them when I got over to the booth, and I just absolutely grabbed it. I haven't read her Hush Hush series, although I do have all 4 books. And I know some people said that the premise of this book is not realistic, or kind of just doesn't seem like it could really happen. So a lot of people are skeptical about it, but I think it looks really awesome, and I'm really excited about it. And I definitely have to give Stacy credit for letting me know about this galley drop, because if it hadn't been for her, I would not have tried for it. So thank you, Stacy. Dark Inside by Jane Roberts. I think it's Jane. I'm not sure. I don't know how to pronounce that. This was from Teen Author Carnival. It was one of 3 books in my goodie bag. I remember a long time ago seeing this cover advertised in, I think, a magazine, and I knew that based on the cover it looked really interesting, but I never really read the synopsis or heard anything else about it. So when I got this and I saw the cover, I recognized it, I read the synopsis, it sounds awesome, I'm very excited for it. Okay. Blonde Ops by Charlotte Bernardo and Natalie Zaman. This is described as The Devil Wears Prada meets Ally Carter. It's supposed to be, like, I guess a mystery. They have to uncover a plot to kidnap the First Lady, or they do uncover it and they have to stop it. I've heard it's really good. I've never heard of this book. I've never heard of these authors, but I've heard really good things about it from people who have reviewed it recently, so I'm very excited. Party Games by R.L. Stine. This was another line that I got in accidentally. I didn't realize he was signing there at BEA, and I don't remember if I walked by and I asked people what they were lined up for, and I jumped on the line when I found out, or if someone walked by and said, "Hey, that's R.L. Stine's line, get in it." I can't remember at all, but I love R.L. Stine. I've been reading his books since I was like 7 or 8, Goosebumps, Fear Street, and this is actually a new Fear Street novel. He's picking the series back up. So it was like a childhood dream come true to get to meet him, which I told him, and he was like, "Oh, don't say that, you're going to make me cry." And then I fangirled more, and I got a picture with him, which I posted on Twitter, and it's also in my BEA recap post. But there's that. So this was absolutely one of my top, like, BEA moments. Was not really, like, even if they had run out of the book, I wouldn't have cared, as long as I could have at least met him. So this was definitely like a top moment at BEA for me. My Life Undecided by Jessica Brody. The Secret Diamond Sisters by Michelle Maddow. Stone Cold Touch by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I do have White Hot Kiss. I haven't read it, but now I have a really good reason to, because I can binge these 2 books. I think this is a trilogy. I'm not sure, but now I can at least read 2 of them. Talon by Julie Kagawa. I had a copy of this from the Harlequin Teen preview that I went to in April, but I actually got this at the Harlequin Breakfast at BEA, and I was able to get it signed, so I'm definitely excited for that. I'm really excited to read this book. And I was going to say something else, but I forgot, so I'm just going to keep moving on and keep this video ramble-free. Unhinged by A.G. Howard. I love this series. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend you do. It's an Alice in Wonderland retelling. Signed. And it has one of the most epic love triangles I have ever in my life encountered. Even if you don't like love triangles, you will have a hard time picking a team, because, like, I'm Team Morpheus, but Jeb can still be really awesome, so. But yeah, I totally fangirled over Anita. I love this book. I love this series. Read them. I keep stumbling over this title. I want to say snitching, which is totally wrong. Stitching Snow by R.C. Lewis. This is a Snow White sci-fi retelling. Need I say more? Can't wait to read it. Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the second book in the Natural series. Mary, the Summoning by Hilary Monahan. This is a Bloody Mary book, and I love horror stories, so horror, supernatural, sci-fi, all that stuff, so I am dying to read this book. The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Alexandra was on one of the last panels of the day at BloggerCon on Wednesday, and they gave us this along with a really awesome tote bag. So I haven't actually heard much about this book. Like prior to BEA, I knew nothing about it, but it looks pretty good, and I'm really excited to read it. This Shattered World by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I always want to reverse their last names. It really throws me. So this is a first for me. This is actually a bound manuscript. It's not even an ARC. It's a bound manuscript. But I really, really loved These Broken Stars, and it completely like shattered my feels. So I'm sure this Shattered World will kill me. But I'm really excited to read it. Fun fact, I accidentally cut the line to grab that book. Totally didn't mean to. But I had walked into the room where they were giving the books away at the BloggerCon after party. I walked in late, and the door I walked in, the table was right there with the copies of this, and I saw it, gasped, and grabbed it. And then when I looked up, I saw there was a whole line of people, and I felt really guilty, so I kind of tucked it away and just kind of ran to the end of the line, so whoops. I still feel guilty about that, by the way. The Ring and the Crown by Melissa de la Cruz. I actually brought this copy from home because I was really nervous that they were going to run out of it, and I really, really wanted to meet Melissa de la Cruz because I've loved her since Blue Bloods, and I love Witches of East End, and this book was epic. It brought me out of a reading slump, and I've never met her before, so got it signed. It was so great meeting her. She's really sweet in person, so. Next I have like 9 or 10 Spencer Hill books to share with you. For those of you who don't know, I work for Spencer Hill. I'm a publicist for them, so a lot of my downtime was spent hanging out at the table and talking with coworkers who I got to meet for the first time in real life, since we mostly work virtually. So a couple times I just kind of walked up to the booth near the end of a signing and they still had books left, so I hopped in the lines. But for a good portion of these books, there was no special treatment. I had to get tickets. If they ran out of tickets, then they ran out of books. I still had to show up early, all that stuff. So, let's get started, because I'm rambling again. Vision by Lisa Amowitz. This is, I guess, I'm not sure if it's a new series or just a new book by her, but I adore Lisa. I've met her several times in person, and I'm really excited for this book, and I got it signed. Yeah. I Wish by Elizabeth Langston. I believe this is about genies. Yes, this is about genies, and this cover is completely epic, so I'm very excited for this one. This is another one that's signed. Forest of Whispers by Jennifer Murgia. I absolutely cannot describe this book without messing it up, because it's kind of, I can't even describe it, but it looks awesome, and I'm really excited to read it. And if I can get the book open, this is another one that's signed. The Monster Within by Kelly Hashway. This looks really good. This is a teenager who she dies of cancer, and then her boyfriend tries to bring her back from the dead, but she comes back wrong. So that looks epic. This is one of my really anticipated books from Spencer Hill. So another one signed. Behind the Scenes by Dahlia Adler. Dahlia is awesome. She's on Twitter. If you're not following her, you're totally missing out. And that's another one that's signed. The Fine Art of Pretending by Rachel Harris. I adore Rachel Harris. I've read all her books. She has 2 adult romances, and she has 3 young adults that are, they have time travel in them. So this is just YA contemporary romance. It looks so good, and I'm so excited to read it. And also getting to meet Rachel after all this time, that was pretty epic. I've been reading her books. I got the first one, I think, May of last year, so it was really awesome finally getting to meet her. Follow Me Through Darkness by Danielle Ellison. Danielle is one of the editors with Spencer Hill. She's written Salt, and this looks so good. It's another one where I don't want to try and describe it and, epically fail, so I'm not even going to bother, but it looks really good, and she signed it. Okay, sorry. I'm losing my mind here. I tried to film this so many times and failed epically, so I'm, exhausted at this point. Sing Sweet Nightingale by Erica Cameron. I'm so excited to finally have this in my hands, in my possession. Erica is absolutely a sweetheart. I finally met her for the first time at BEA, but I've been speaking with her for months now. And I'm going to be working directly on the next book in this series, Deadly Sweet Lies, which comes out next May. So I was really excited to meet her and get my hands on this one. And unfortunately, that one's not signed. So I think that's the only Spencer Hill one that didn't get signed. Finally, I have Damsel Distressed by Kelsey Mackey. I am Kelsey's publicist, so getting my hands on this book was probably my #1 mission at BEA. I really wanted to have a physical copy of this. I still had to get a ticket, and I still had to wait online. Again, no special treatment. But, okay, I would totally fangirl over Kelsey and this book and everything, and I don't want to ramble, but I will say this book will completely break your feels. It comes out in October, and it's a must-read. First of all, that's really cool, right? And then it's signed, and also in the back, it has a QR code for a song called Edge of the Fall. And if you don't know, Kelsey is also in a band with her husband, Wedding Day Rain, and along with the book, they have a CD coming out called Imogen Unlocked, and it's all original songs that go with the book. So, in most cases in the book, it's it just looks like this, but you do have that one QR code that gives you a preview of the one song. So, okay, I am shamelessly plugging this book. I will stop now. I'm sorry, please don't hate me, but epic, read it. Moving on, I got Rooms by Lauren Oliver. This was actually the first signing line that I tried to get in on Thursday. Unfortunately, I was late getting to the floor because of the Harlequin breakfast, and they ran out of books. But then, I don't remember if it was later that day or Friday or what, but they ended up doing a galley drop of it, and I was able to finally snag a copy. I love Lauren Oliver. I loved her Delirium trilogy, and I'm very excited to read this. Messenger of Fear. I wanted to say Don't Fear the Messenger. I don't know where I got that from, but Messenger of Fear by Michael Grant. I heard about this one on Tea Time from Epic Reads. I haven't read his Gone series, but this looks really good and creepy and, awesome, so I'm excited for that. Anatomy of a Misfit by Andrea Portes. think it's Portese. I'm not sure. I could be pronouncing that completely wrong. This looks really good. It's a girl who's a freak. Like, she knows she's a freak, yet she's also the most popular girl, or no, third most popular girl in school because she hides that she's a freak from everyone. And she knows if people find out, then she'll officially become an outsider, a misfit. Very excited for this book. This is another that I heard about on Tea Time. The Jewel by Amy Ewing? I'm totally pronouncing that wrong. This cover is really gorgeous. I've heard really good things about it, and I'm very excited to read it. Falling into Place by Amy Zhang. This was my number 2 most anticipated book at BEA. I showed up like 40 minutes early for this galley drop, and I had to keep like moving around because they couldn't form the line that long, which I understand completely. But I showed up really early for this, and basically this is one of those books, if I had left BEA without this, I would have cried, because it looks just amazing. So, and finally, I got Made for You by Melissa Marr. Melissa Marr is one of my absolute favorite authors. I loved her Wicked Lovely series. I loved Graveminder, which was an adult sci-fi standalone. She's just awesome. This looks really, really good. It's obsession, romance, and murder. And it's supposed to be like a twisted southern gothic tale. So between what this book is about and the fact that Melissa Marr wrote it, I am completely sold. And this was my absolute number 1 must-have from BEA. And the fact that she was signing and I finally got to meet her for the first time ever and I got to fangirl, that was even better. So can't wait to read this book. This is like, I think it comes out in like October. No, this comes out in September. And I probably will not be able to wait that long to read it. I'm probably going to just read it out of order of my other arcs because I can't wait to read it. This one too. This is like the first one that I'm going to read of all my BEA books, and this is like the second. So that is it. That video was epically long. I completely like lost my train of thought a few times, but thank you guys for bearing with me. Tell me what books you're excited for. Tell me what books you have or you have read. Tell me what you thought of them. And if you went to BEA, definitely share your recaps and your book hauls and all of that. Share that with me in the comments below. I love checking out those posts. So that's it for today. I'll be back next week with my post-BEA haul. I have a ton of books on my dresser behind me to share with you, but I didn't want to make this video any longer than it already is, so that'll be for next time. I will speak to you guys soon. Bye!